All right. Morning, you. Thanks for tuning in. So, it is Wednesday, April 28th. God, I cannot believe it. Just flying through this year already. And it feels like we've barely started. The S&P has just been in an absolute mess lately. Things are just really, really choppy, low volume. The S&P futures has just turned net positive on the day here. So let me pull up my market analyzer. So the S&P is up by 0.01%. Nasdaq still down slightly. Russell's down slightly. I forgot to put the Dow on here. Let's see what YM is doing. That's the Dow futures, and the Dow is up 0.06%. So all in all, things are just, like I said, very neutral. Not a ton going on. You can see that we've been in a slow grind down here in the overnight session, although we do have a weak high up here or an unfinished auction. As far as my bias goes today, I don't have any sort of like very high conviction plays just on the way the price action looks. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get my drawing tool. There it is. All right. So the one point of interest that I really am paying attention to is this area right here. So this is the low volume node right below the POC. I know Futures Trader 71 calls this the key low volume node. So the low volume nodes above and below the POC he calls the key volume nodes, as they're very important. So basically, I'm looking for the market to continue to grind down and for us to get a possible bounce right there and then come back up, take out that weak high, and continue higher. Because the auction has been largely bearish, I'm sure this area looks like a bull flag on a higher time frame. I tend to think that these kinds of ranges are going to break out in the direction of the overall trend, which would be bullish. That being said, though, if the LVN does break here, I'm looking for a really rapid drop and a retest of yesterday's low volume node, or yesterday's low. You can see that it got bought aggressively here yesterday. So either A, the same thing's going to happen, or we're going to trap out all these shorts and get a very nice correction to the downside. Trap out all the longs, I mean. So these are my two areas of interest, basically, right here and right here. But like I said, volume's been really, really low. Just been kind of chopping around. Not a lot has been happening. This is where we look. This is what things look like on the market profile. Hey, what's up, Wandering? Did I say? I thought I said Wednesday. I could have sworn I did. Could be wrong. I mean, I do this so frequently that it's easy to. And also, hell, I'm waking up. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. Leave me a break. Give me a break. All right. In any event, so here's what things look like on the market profile. So you can see that we have a selling tail right up here, which is basically shows very aggressive institutional activity. So we've got a selling tail, and then we have a buying tail at the bottom. So things are just really getting compressed in this area right here, and we'll just need to see exactly what's going to happen next. Yeah, like I said, these formations, they tend to break out in the direction of the overall trend. So normally I would be more bullish bias and be looking for continuation to the upside. But like I see, the market doesn't, when it gets like this, it's harder to have conviction behind your biases, just because there's not a lot of it's like if there's a flop that came out on if you're playing Texas Hold'em, and the cards are just like very, like, there's no aces, there's no kings, it's just like a bunch of non-face cards, basically. In the equities world, we've got earnings today. Boeing already reported they missed on earnings. We have Apple and Facebook today. They're both reporting after the close. We also have Qualcomm, ADP, Ford, eBay, and let's see. Most everybody has beat on both EPS and revenue so far. Like I said, Boeing did miss slightly on revenue and a little bit worse on earnings per share. But overall, I would say, things are largely bullish. All right, well, let's bust out TradingView and we'll take a look at what's going on in the other markets. I want to look at Bitcoin first here. Poker references. What's up? Yeah, wondering. I definitely feel that. We went from this extremely crazy bull run where it was just defying logic and never pulling back to just really drifting sideways on low volume. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. You can see that we have a fairly nice little range going, and I called this out. I forget which day it was, but it was right here when we had a false breakout below the previous pivot low, and then all these shorts got trapped. And I think this is where I had finally called it out and recognized that it was reversing, and things have been doing fairly well since then. Let's switch to a little bit higher time frame, like a 4-hour. Okay, so you can see that we came right back to this previous area of balance, and that's where we're currently just kind of chopping around. So the next, key level would probably be this one right around 57,000, as it's the top of this range. And I'd be looking for a potential break to the upside from there. All in all, I mean, the crypto market is gaining so much more coverage in the media right now that I really think that you're going to get a lot more new investors and retail traders that are coming in and trying to get a piece of the market. So because of that influx of capital, long term, I think this is definitely bullish. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is those we've got a divergence here in volume, which is a little bit to be expected, but that's just the only thing I would say. You just want to pay attention to volume and making sure that it's keeping up with price. As I'm sure you guys well know, just like any other auction, say these are bids for a piece of artwork or something like that. You're gonna have a lot of bids, a lot of bidders in the beginning, and as you get higher with price, you're gonna get fewer and fewer bids. Well, volume works in the exact same way. So as price is trending higher, eventually you're gonna get to a point where volume is just like nothing, and then that's when the market's gonna reverse. So that's why we always want to use volume for confirmation. All right, well, let's go through here and we'll see if we can find some setups. All right, so I wanted to look at Apple because they have earnings today. I know it had a week high. Yeah, last I checked. So we have a week high right here on Apple. We're putting in a bull flag as we speak. So here I would be looking for this range to hold, and I'd be looking for a break to the upside. As far as targets goes, this previous pivot high and eventually this pivot high would both be fairly reasonable. It looks like we're down 2 cents in pre-market, which is, that's nominal. Don't forget, guys, we have FOMC today. That may definitely be, yeah, it's definitely contributing to the chop. So the FOMC is at 11:30 Pacific time. And then we have the interest rate decision at 11. Other economic indicators, we have crude oil today. That is at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, and Biden's supposed to be speaking at some point today, but that is tentative. So keep an eye on the news for sure. But yeah, since we have FOMC, this morning's likely to be really choppy on the open, very low volume. But then things will definitely start picking up at the second half of the day. Thank you about the analogies. Yeah, good call, wandering. All right. Well, doesn't mean that we can't find a couple decent setups here. This one, I'm gonna go back to an hourly chart, 1 hour, and let's not squash it super bad. Okay, so this is Naked Brands. Um, Normally I would say that this would be a decent long on the pullback here, but the only thing that concerns me is this enormous volume spike when we broke lower. I don't know what that's about. Um, it may have just been a long-term short trying to suppress the market. We did take out this previous pivot high though, as you can see. So overall, I don't think this is a bad position for a long. So I would be looking for us to hold this level, which means we can have very nice tight stops. And I'd be looking for a retest of this pivot high, followed by a potential break to the upside. Um, this is just a linear range, linear regression channel right here. So it's just a statistics thing. Basically, this is two standard deviations from the line that best fits all of these trades, all of this data. So it's not support or resistance or anything like that. It's simply just it tells me where two standard deviations is, so I know when the market is either pushing on a high momentum or is getting extended and is going to fall back into the range. So that's all these are. All right, so on Neo here, we had a breakout, so you can see that we took out this previous pivot high right here, and we came back pretty sharply. So and then actually we're down a little bit in pre-market. So this actually seems like it's setting up for a pretty nice short. We have a low volume node right here, and if this low volume node gets pierced, this thing is gonna drop pretty aggressively, I would imagine. So like I said, Neo here setting up for a pretty nice short. All these longs are currently underwater. So they're definitely going to be starting to get nervous as the market continues to drop. And I would imagine if we hit this level or beyond, it's going to trigger a lot of stops. So definitely keep an eye on Neo if you play the short side. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. What's my criteria for my watch list? Um, all my setups and stuff that I look at are based on um, price action, volume profile, support and resistance, that kind of stuff. I don't, I mean, I typically like stuff that has pretty decent volume. But yeah, I don't have a you know, specific criteria that I use. It's all basically just what I'm seeing on the charts. I'll trade anything if there's a an asymmetric opportunity there. So all right, so this is Ford, but it looks like it's continuing to grind up on um fairly weak volume right here. Like I said, Ford does have earnings today, so it looks like people are pricing this in as being a bullish response. I don't follow companies' fundamentals closely enough anymore to say like whether I think it would beat on earnings or not. So, in any event, this looks pretty decent, but it's a little bit late in the game, and like I said, volume is starting to decrease. Yikes. Okay, AT&T pulled back really hard after this gap up on earnings. Looks like it's starting to find some support here potentially. But yeah, I don't like the way that looks. By the way, guys, if you have anything you'd like me to take a look at, please throw it in the chat. So we can kind of run through things. Like I said, I'm a futures trader primarily, so I may not be as up to snuff on what the decent stuff that's moving in equities is. Okay. So we've got a weak high here on Riot blockchain, and one thing that I've noticed is Riot hasn't really been moving all that well. Hasn't seemed to have been as linked to Bitcoin, price action wise. Um, normally I would say this might be a decent opportunity for a long, particularly since Bitcoin is starting to rally. But I'm just seeing in the long term progressively lower lows, even though Bitcoin hasn't really been trading that way. So I don't know how I feel about this for a longer term play. I want to check oil and gold here really fast. I know oil was looking bullish last time I checked. Yeah, so these are the oil futures, ticker symbol CL, and we've got a pretty nice healthy uptrend right now. I think it's fair to say that if we got a pullback here, buying um, buying the dip here and then looking for a continuation to the upside would be a fairly safe bet. And I'd be targeting this previous pivot high up here around 64.40. Cool. All right, guys. Well, yeah, unless anybody else has any questions, I'll probably wrap it up here. So just to kind of reiterate, I can't even talk today. Like, I don't know why I'm stuttering. So again, in the ES, like I said, I'm fairly neutral biased. The main area that I'm looking for is a potential bounce at this LVN right here from yesterday. As it stands, like I said, the market's not really showing its cards very well. We do have a weak high right here, so that unfinished auction seems to favor a break to the upside. That being said, though, we're just kind of grinding down right now, and I don't know if we're going to get continuation. So I'm just going to be watching to see what happens here at the low volume node below yesterday's POC. So, yeah, so looking for either a bounce here and continuation with potential break to the upside, or I'm looking for us to break back below this low volume node, retest yesterday's low, and then potentially break yesterday's low of the day. I don't see this as being very likely. You can see from yesterday we've got a buying tail here. So I think that the long-term buyer is likely to come in and buy the dip if we do get down here. So in any event, I'm just gonna keep an eye on these levels until FOMC, and then hopefully we'll get some movement to the upside. So. What's the best thing to buy into now? I can't really give individual trading recommendations. Yes, when is ADA going up? Let me look at the ticker. Market cap ADA. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. I'm guessing this is something in the cryptocurrency sector. I mean, it looks like it's going up right now. It's in a fairly decent uptrend. The only thing that concerns me is this lower high right here. So that shows a little bit of weakness. So it could potentially trap out all these longs. So yeah, I'm not an authority on this. I've never traded it. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right ticker. So And as far as live trading goes, I don't typically trade live. You two wondering? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't typically do live trading just because trading futures is stressful enough without having somebody watching over your shoulder. So, I'm much more apt to like post videos and stuff. I record my sessions pretty much every day. I'd be happy to post some live trading footage, but I can't trade with that much leverage and hold a decent conversation at the same time. Unless I was trading micros, which I could do. So I'll think about it though. By the way, if you guys haven't heard in the news, so May 3rd, there's going to be a new futures, a micro Bitcoin futures contract. Yeah, I could do something like that, posting some trading footage. What's the most I've ever gotten out of the stock market before? I mean, I don't really trade stocks. I trade futures. But my best day was like a little under 2 grand, probably. Like a really good day. A really good day for me is when I break 1,000. I've had several $1,500 days, but my best day was like a little over two. Yeah, I think I maybe topped out at 2,400 and then ended the day around like 18 or something. All right, guys, so we got 10 minutes till the open here. So, like I said, it's bound to be really choppy, low volume kind of crap today. So, you might want to keep your powder dry until FOMC at 11:30 Pacific. But yeah, apart from that, guys, thanks for being here. Again, we have Apple and Facebook earnings today after the close. Um, and that's pretty much it. So, um, anyways, thanks so much for being here. I'll be on tomorrow, same time, same place, 6 a.m. Pacific. And good luck in the market, guys. Take care. FOMC, it's the Federal Open Market Committee. So that's basically where the Federal Reserve comes out and they'll tell the public if they're raising interest rates or not. Um, and because yeah, the raising or not of interest rates has a really strong effect on the economy. And they also talk about like their monetary policy. Sometimes the buying of bonds. How much financial support they're giving the public, etc. So yeah, James, you should be able to find it on YouTube when it starts to come out. So